3, 2, 1.
Let us see. Oh. Hello. We're laughing. You can hear us laughing. We're about to have a good old time. In just a minute, we'll have the face reveal. So sit tight. We are live on YouTube. Yes, honey. We are getting ready for our Everybody Educate, where we make sure that you all know that we are all educating somebody somewhere in some way, somehow. And so in just a minute, you will see and get to meet a couple people. And and that's me and my guests. But y'all know I'm crazy. I do me. That's what I do. So let me get my camera ready and on for you all. And you all can get right in, get ready, get your notepads, get your questions going. And I'm super excited. Yay. Super excited to see you. Super excited to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me, our business, and then my wonderful, beautiful guests. So, hello. We are live. We are live. We are here in the flesh. Now, I've been doing interviews and I've been doing some lives. I've been doing them at home, in my cozy home, and I've been doing them right on Zoom and, live stream. So right now we're out and we're in person, and I'm going to talk loud because, there's some background noise and we got to get that straight, but we really can't when you're out. So I'm so happy. I'm Robin Queen, the Queen Educator, and I am the CEO and lead consultant of Everybody Educate, where we believe that everybody is educating somebody somewhere in some way. And we want to help them do it well and in excellence in an equitable way, right? And so today I have someone who embodies that. And so you're going to meet her in just a second, but I want to let you know this is an episode that we are going to share on our upcoming podcast. And it is called Hone Your Brilliance, which is my 3 words that I want you all to know that Everybody Educate is based on. We want you all to hone your brilliance, be the best of yourself, and move away from being robotic and being like everybody else. And so I have somebody here today that's going to kick that off. And this is about to be funny and exciting and everything that you need. So share this video. You can go to Everybody Educate page. We're going to have this on here later on too. So yes, Everybody Educate. Welcome, Shu. Hi. Now here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? All of me. Sing it with me. Loves all of you. All your come on, girl.
You sing it better than me. You sing it better than me.
Listen, y'all. I'm going to tell you about my guest here today. She was sitting here and she was singing. She's like, "Oh, I like John Legend," because we're in Panera in the background. So I was like, "Well, what's your favorite John Legend song?" And she starts singing, honey. She starts singing. Come on.
All of you loves all of me.
Really? I'm gonna get her. She gonna sing later. She's a nice voice. She's a very nice lady. I was like, oh dang, I should have been recording
all
that.
My talents away.
That's true. A little bit. We can't see when you're honing your brilliance. You gotta put everything into it. So we're gonna make her sing a little bit later. Well, I am here with none. I'm gonna let her introduce herself to you, but with none other than my girl, Melinda. Do you want to go back at K or S?
I would like to go back to K.
There we go.
Now, Miss K, because that reminds me of how long I've been teaching and how seasoned I'd like to consider myself at this point. But a lot of my former students, know me as Miss S. So.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to say this. I met Melinda when I was, how many years ago has it been?
Oh, it's been a long time. Well, the boys are almost 16. So over 16 years.
Oh my gosh, that's the truth. I met her. I was a new teacher. Now remember, guys, with my platform, I really have been pushing the support for new teachers and really making sure that they're prepared to educate well. And so I want to tell you, she has been one of my mentors whenever I was a new teacher. So this is a very special interview for me. And I'm hoping that you all get just like the beauty that I got from her. I know you will already, just bubbly, just beautiful. I'm so happy to have her here. And there's a very special reason why I also have her here. But to start, it really is. She has been a mentor to me. She's been a friend to me. She has just been amazing for over 16 years and consistent and an amazing teacher.
I paid her $20 to say this, by
She
the way.
did. She did. I told you we're gonna have fun today. And so y'all just need to get ready for it. Y'all need to get ready for it. And so if you have comments and things that you want to put below, please do. You have questions, please do. She's been teaching. I want you to talk to them a little bit about how long, where you came from, who are you, and even as an educator, a mother, like, go ahead, just
I got a lot of different hats at this stage of the game. First of all, I am very delighted to be here with you because I have not seen Robin forever. So this has been, not only is this an honor for me to be sitting here with her, but I am so proud of you. I am so proud of everything that you have done and what you have become and how hard you have worked to get to where you're at. And now you're even doing more and trying to take your expertise and your experience and sharing it with others. So there's nothing more than I can say about that.
To make me cry over here.
No,
okay.
this is the honest to God's truth. And I really, really am glad to have the opportunity not to share with you all a lot of things that I have done to get me to where I'm at today, but to maybe along the way give you some additional information and some perks, especially for some new and upcoming teachers. I know that the world is tough out there and society has a lot of undue pressures on you constantly, but it's a job that's rewarding in itself, but you have to believe that. You really have to believe that. So.
See, do you see what I'm saying? So let me just tell you a little bit about our story. And when I was younger, my mother worked in the school system, Pittsburgh public school system. And I've always wanted to be a teacher since I was little. And so my mom worked at a school called Liberty. Shout out to Liberty. Yes. Liberty Elementary. And, she was just a super social worker, acting principal, wonderful parent advocate, teacher advocate, everything. And so she inspired me. And so when I got to her school, when I was coming, I actually started volunteering. And so when I volunteered there, I met all these amazing teachers. And I was like, oh my gosh, look what they're doing. They were so creative. And I'm trying to tell you guys, it was a time where you had a little bit more freedom to just be you.
Yes, you did.
Don't you agree? Like,
yes, we did.
And I want Melinda to talk about that.
Yeah, and take a lot of pretty much what the curriculum was expecting you to do, and tailor it a little bit to accustom the way you felt that you were going to be the most effective as a teacher, but your students were going to get the most out of what you were trying to teach them.
Take me back in the day when teaching was real.
We don't have that opportunity. I would like to say they probably don't have the opportunity anymore because things are trickling down from above, as we know. Things are a lot more strict in the realm of helping us understand what it is that we need to get across to the students, but it's more strict in the way that there's not so much flexibility allowed. In kindergarten, there was nap time and all those fun things. I feel like at this point we are taking away the realm of social skills that these kids really need to focus on and learn. It's not just about the academics. It's about how to be realistic, and it's learning how to adapt to change, and it's learning how to accustom yourself in society as a whole. And I think a lot of those principles that we did have in the beginning have been taken away.
You see how we just jump right in there with that wisdom and that knowledge? I was trying to set the stage and say, I got there, I was a new teacher. Then I met her and she was doing all types of amazing things. Like the whole crew. I was just like, oh,
we had a good first grade team.
Gosh.
There were some incredible teachers at Liberty.
And then so I learned from so many just beautiful, spirited people who really wanted to teach and really wanted to see children be well. And Melinda was of the top of them. Like she was like amazing. And so we connected very well, our family and everything. And I learned a lot from you. So even just like the knowledge coming now. And so tell me, how did you get into teaching when you started and why?
Okay. So let's go back to my college days. We won't talk about how long ago that was.
But you look good, girl. So they don't even have to.
But I really, really did focus on wanting to do something with children. And at first, I really thought about being a child psychologist. But back then, I knew that it was going to be very difficult to get myself in a position where I'd be able to get hired or to get into a community or network where I'd be able to practice right away. Plus, you have to go on to extensive years of school for that as well. So teaching was definitely my next option. Although I did want to be a news reporter.
Oh.
Just keep that on the down low. But teaching definitely was my first aspiration. I think that when I decided to be a teacher, the reason why I decided to be a teacher is because I really had a love for children. And I really wanted to see them grow and learn and have fun in doing it. And I chose the elementary profession because that is the start and the foundation of where kids start to learn. You can have a lot of fun, you could be candid, but they still have that motivation where they're looking forward to seeing you every day and they want to learn every day. And it's motivational for you, right? Not just as a teacher, but for the kids. And so from that point, then I kind of went a different direction. I started out in a parochial school, private school, and I went from a private school to a charter school. And then I went from the charter school to the public system.
Wow.
So there were a lot of changes along the way, but I have to say that it gave me a lot of good experience and seeing just the way that the school systems work in different ways and the different expectations that they have just in the change of curriculum, so on and so forth. So when I got to the public school system, I kind of embraced it in a way that working for the city can be challenging, but it also can be very rewarding.
How many of you out there, like, where are you? Are you at a private school, charter school, public school? Where are you? And, you know, there's lots of things that we can go into around like the differences. But what I appreciate, and if we rewind back to what you said earlier, you know, it's very challenging to be creatively you and be yourself. And so again, if you're just joining us, I'm here with Melinda K, Melinda S, however you want to call her, but she's amazing. And she is an educator, but she not only is an educator, she's a mother, she's a friend, she's a daughter, she is beautifully talented and amazing. And I want to say that because sometimes we can get so caught up in our profession and being like, okay, I'm this. And it's a lot. And so when I say let's rewind, I really want to think about, you started off with this passion that you just shared to us, and then you went through these experiences. How did you maintain or sustain your passion for teaching children with the challenges that came through the years? And even as a first year teacher, I mean, how did you...
Okay, so if I was to rewind, as you said, and really think about what got me started, motivated, I think this is not only a question for myself, but I think it would be a question for new teachers as well. That when you say yourself that you want to be a teacher, you have to ask yourself first and foremost, like, what is your purpose? What is the purpose? What is the reason why you want to be a teacher? And so I think if you keep that in perspective, it can kind of help you along the way, nurture along your journey. But the first priority needs to be the kids. You really have to stop and think about, as a teacher, you're not just teaching these kids, but you're setting the example. You're actually a role model. And so you really have to think about your purpose, and you want to ask yourself in the end, what are you doing that in the end, when these kids graduate from kindergarten or first grade, what kind of foundation have you laid for them and the purpose behind it? So that is the first thing that I would definitely say that you should focus on and think about.
Is that what kept you, like, even through the difficult times?
It did, because, you know, when you have a classroom of students and you have 30 kids, kindergarten or first graders, and you're struggling to see how you're going to reach every one of them because they all have a different need. And, you know, they say to you that you have to make sure you're tailoring and you're making sure that you're focusing on making sure that each child in your room is learning, no matter what the difficult situation may be, or you might be placed in, or what diagnosis that child may have. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like they're a bunch of Skittles in a bag. You know, they're all different, coming from different areas, different backgrounds, different nationalities, different types of home lives. So those are the things that you really have to think about when you're teaching, and take your purpose and try to tailor it so it's accustomed to each one of those kids, so it's effective for you in the end.
You all need to be taking. Are you guys taking notes? I was going to add to my notes here. You see,
I guess, like, probably the second thing I would say to tie in with that, with your purpose, is your principles. So I think that as a teacher, you come in your classroom with a whole class of new students every single year, but you have to take the principles. And when I say that, that means your personal morals and your values, and you have to try to make it fit to whatever it is the district is wanting you to apply or to follow, whether it's the curriculum, whether it's the rules, whether it's the guidelines, or the structure, the way that the classroom is set up. But the principle of what you need to do to be most effective all the way around, knowing that the principles that you are reinforcing to these kids are going to stay with them for the rest of their lives.
You got to slow down right there. No, seriously, like we need to pause, because I feel like that has gotten away from us.
I think we
And one of the reasons why I started my business, one of the reasons why I started even now, like this new podcast we're doing about honing your brilliance. When I think about honing and crafting your business, and I mean, not your business, but your brilliance, and finding inside of you what like makes you glow and shine, but knowing who's in front of you, knowing what you have to do, and being able to make it work and make it fit. You said something that you said, make it fit.
Yes, you have to make it fit and tailor it. And every year you have to make changes, and you have to do a self-check and a self-evaluation.
So Jules.
Yes, there are just so many things that we are getting away from that we need to get back into and focus on, because those are really like the nuts and bolts of what creates a kid. What when that child leaves your classroom, what do you want them to leave with? Is what you have to ask yourself. It's not just the academic piece. It's the inside of who they are and who you are striving to mold them to be, as little individual people, because they're going to grow up to be young adults one day, and those are the things we have to look at further on down the line in the future. And the thing that I want to say that really sticks with me the most, and I feel like we're truly getting away from, is being patient and compassionate. When you have kids come into your classroom, like I said in the beginning, how they come from different backgrounds and you don't know what they're going through at home, but sometimes you have to make sure that as a teacher, sometimes you're the highlight of their day and we don't realize that. Sometimes they look at coming to school because school is a safe haven for them.
Wow.
So as an elementary teacher, I felt that, I love to be able to give my student a hug in the morning, give them a high five, let them know, give them some positivity, something that they can go off of. They might have just had a tremendous argument or a really scary situation the night before at home. And so those are the things that you need to focus on, and know that sometimes, I know we're not supposed to touch and hug and all those things, like I said, we're trying to get away from, but still remaining compassionate and having patience with those kids really can make a difference.
Well, let me ask you, we're going to shift a little bit, because I feel like we need a part 2.
Okay.
And I know, seriously, we need a part 2 about like really helping teachers to get to those roots and foundations that are kind of lacking now.
Yes.
Right. And you said some powerful things, and you said them off your tongue like this, like it was just easy. But the reason why it can be is because you practice that, and this is what you believe in. So I heard purpose, I heard principles, I heard really tailoring each year to your unique students. I also heard being passionate. So if I would say the 3 P's from Melinda today that I've heard just in our start was purpose, principles, and passion. But not even passion, compassion.
Right.
Compassion for the students, and understanding that now in this world that we're in right now, we need that. This is why I'm glad we're like face to face. This is making me really excited. It really is, because it does like even speak to the essence of that. Knowing that our children don't always come the way we think, and everything's about to be perfect when we come out of school and all that. And we want to change people to what we think, and that's not really what we're saying to do either. We don't need to change anybody. We need to embrace them. We need to think about who we are, right?
Yes,
and where we came from and how we felt at those times too. And so I'm going to transition into like your story, because Melinda, are you still working for the
No,
school?
I am retired.
Let's talk about that.
Where
are you now? Where are you now?
So I am now trying to raise the best I can, which is very difficult these days. Twin boys are going to be 16. So, and they do attend a public schools. So, and they both go to 2 different high schools. So it is even more challenging for me to keep track of teachers and work. But I'm very blessed because they're good students and they're good boys. And I hope that I have laid a good foundation for them to carry that through as the older they get. But to keep in mind, this society is constantly throwing challenges at them all the time, whether it's social media, whether it's trying to adjust. We just went through the pandemic. So there are a lot of things that got thrown their way over the past couple of years that I was not expecting, but we don't have a choice but to deal with it the best way we can. How I came and where I'm at right now, So after being retired, I decided that I wanted to continue to help. So I do a lot of volunteering for a lot of different associations. I really do try to focus on reading now to students with my book, which we will hopefully get into soon.
This
to
is
share my
about
personal
to
story.
go.
So I really enjoy doing that. So even though I'm not teaching anymore, I'm still keeping my feet wet and doing what I love the most. And so reading to kids really gives me a rewarding sense of joy and happiness that I'm still touching lives in a different way.
Well, I believe that you are still teaching. Everybody educate. Everybody educate. It doesn't have to just be in the classroom anymore. You might be an educator and you don't even know that you're an educator. And so hopefully you all pick up something from this too. If you're a speaker, if you're a writer, if you're an author, if you're a teacher in some capacity, you are educating someone. And so this is why we're here. She's on here not just because you've been a teacher, but because you are still a teacher. That is who you are. And so let's talk about this book and where it came from. And so, hopefully we can tie all the things together, because I'm wondering, I just want to know more about who you serve in this book. Who'd you write this book for?
Okay, so the book that Robin is talking about is called I Fit In With the Skin I'm In. And it is probably my most and biggest success in life at this point. It is something that I worked on and wanted to do for years, but never really had the time. But I made a promise to myself that by the time I turned a certain age, that I would make sure that I had this book published so that I could start educating and sharing my story and my personal story, because that's really what it's about, to help other kids realize that by fitting in, it doesn't matter how you're fitting in or where you're fitting in, that it's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to take some of the things and the challenges that you face every day and turn that into something positive, because that's basically what I did. It's basically what I had to do because I didn't know any better. I didn't know any different. But becoming a teacher gave me the experience of having different kids in my classroom, biracial children in my classroom, and the curriculum, it doesn't matter whether it's a charter school or a public school or a private school, we get sent a library of books, because we want the kids to have a selection so we can keep their interest in reading. And I noticed over my years of teaching that there weren't really books that focused on kids that were biracial. So for them to pick up a book and see the same unified cultural people in the book all the time didn't have anything for them to relate to. So I felt that maybe by sharing my own personal story and putting it into a book, it could be something that they could relate to at one point, and hopefully realize that it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter who or where you come from. It matters who you are on the inside, and that's what makes a difference. So.
Wow. So to me, this is really precious, because something you said you seen a need.
I did.
And that need was what? You didn't see a lot of people that represented you in your classroom libraries. And so it's not just about teaching a curriculum. We are teaching students and diverse students. And so that's the beauty of your book. And I don't know if you want to read an insert from it, but I think you should.
Okay.
And one of the other things I wanted to point out about your book, I seen this name on here. I'm oh my gosh.
We definitely need to give Tony his props.
Tony Del Sardo, who was another teacher that worked at Liberty as well. He was the art teacher, correct?
He was amazing. Tony had a knack for not only art, but by getting the kids engaged and wanting to draw and really appreciating their different styles. And sometimes, he took the average stick figure and made that child feel like it was a Picasso. So having Tony really be a part of my book was definitely an honor as well, because the illustrations are great, the kids can relate, and that was the main goal of my book. I wanted it to be bright and colorful and something that they could look at and could relate to.
Yeah.
So basically, when I say that the book is a personal story, because the book is actually about me. And growing up, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, predominantly white community, so there was no diversity at all. So with that being said, my mom was very good at trying to get me introduced and involved in community activities, and she would take me to the library a lot. And I remember being young and going into the library and not seeing any books that I could relate to at all. So there weren't too many diversity books at that point either. And so it was really hard for me at one point. I actually thought I was adopted. And it really hit home with me, because I felt like I'm looking around and there isn't anybody else that looked like me, whether it was in my community or my school. And it was hard. So in writing this book, it took me back to my feelings, and really made me focus on the things that I wanted to share with kids, and they would feel more comfortable and not question things the way I did. So I'll read you a little.
I'm excited.
So let's see here. I'll read you this page because this page is kind of unique to me. It says, the next day, Ariana's teacher noticed she was sad and asked her what could be so bad. I simply don't fit in, and it's all because of the color of my skin. And I picked this page for you because when I talk about teachers and how important teachers play in a child's life, I had a kindergarten teacher who I was getting picked on, and I just noticed that I was different. I didn't look like anybody else in my classroom, but this teacher of mine made it a point to set me aside and tell me that I was special in my own way and to not worry about what kids thought or what kids said. And so she made me feel like I was the best thing since sliced bread that day. And that just stuck with me. So in writing my book, it's a rhyming book. And because I know kids pick up quickly when it rhymes and it's an easy read. And I wanted the kids to feel that once they read my book, that they would realize that if they were experiencing the same thing that I had gone through, that it was okay, that they could actually end up being very successful, and that they really need to look at who they are as a person and what they're willing to share with other children, and let them know that it's okay to be different, that at one point you don't have to worry about fitting in. You just have to be yourself.
What opportunities have you had to go and share your message and share your book? I know you had some speaking. I put that on our flyer.
Oh, yes, I did.
Talk to us about seriously, because I feel like this, to me, like I didn't want to sit here and cry. I'm trying to get it together, but it's okay. This is so powerful. You know, your journey, and I just want to say this, I say this a lot, your journey is your wealth. This is a part of your journey. You shared a little bit when we first started about your journey and being a teacher. Is this the reason, the teacher that you mentioned, is she one of the reasons why you became a teacher?
She is not the reason why I became a teacher. However, what she taught me during that time when I was so young, okay, and I think to myself, when you're in kindergarten, your teacher is your whole world. Yeah. In kindergarten, you look at your teacher might be 20, you think your teacher's 50, but you don't care because that teacher is the best thing because you see that teacher every day. So that's why I say to you, you have to be compassionate and patient, because as a student, I was really struggling every day. But this woman brought me aside as my teacher and let me know, I don't care if you're different. I don't care what you look like. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the person who you are on the inside and the wonderful child that you are in my classroom.
That's so powerful.
So I wanted to make sure that I was sharing that same vision and that same opportunity for children who read my book or I'm reading to them to understand that being different is okay.
I love it. I love that. Talk to us about where you've been to share your story.
So I have had a couple opportunities to go into schools now and share my story with the kids. And it's been kind of wonderful because I actually would have the opportunity to go back to my high school. And I actually got to go to two of the elementary schools that were there that I did not attend because I attended a private school when I was smaller. And these schools gave me the opportunity to read to the kids. And then I want to tell you, the unique thing about this was there was a little girl in the classroom, and it's still an all predominantly white school. And there was one girl of color that was sitting in my classroom. And I read the book to her. And when I was reading the book, I could just kind of see her kind of like melt there, because I think it hit home that she was kind of reflecting on what I was going through. So when all was said and done, I got done reading the story. The kids gave me all a thumbs up, so they loved it. So that was a good thing. But I did make it a point to talk to the administration and the counselors and the staff there at the school and let them know that, you know what, she might not be saying anything, but trust me, she's going through something. And you want to make sure that you take the opportunity to address her feelings and let her know that you see her, okay, that she's visible. And even though she might be different, you're not seeing her as different. You're accepting her for she is, but knowing that she's going to make the difference. So I had the opportunity to do that. And then on the collegiate level, I've had actually some of my friends who are professors at different colleges have me come in and talk to the students. I know you're probably thinking, but it's an elementary book, so why would you be reading to students? However, it is a good piece for a group discussion. So it actually, when I tailor it towards asking kids, whether in middle school or high school or even college, you know, I take them back as to say, think about a time that you felt that you didn't fit in. And it doesn't have to be because of your skin color. It could be because you had to move. It could be because, you know, you were in a classroom that you were put in because the other teacher couldn't deal with you. Or it's a fact that your parents have exposed you in a situation where you're playing for a team in a different city, in a different state, and now you're trying to make new friends. So there are so many different opportunities, not only as college students or high school students, but even as adults. There's times that we have to sit back and think to ourselves, when is there a time that you felt like you just didn't fit in?
I mean, I feel like we all can relate to that. There's always
Absolutely.
a time where we've had transition. There's always a time where we felt different, where we are all different.
Right.
And there's been the times that that's just not accepted, or people don't know how to accept one another's differences.
Right.
And so there's so many discussions that can come out of this. And I'm a firm believer in like children's book for adults too. One of my first lives that I did for Everybody Educate was all around like educational healing. And it was a book called The Good Egg.
Oh.
I love it. It's amazing. Guys, go back and watch that. It was really good. And we really talked about, you know, it actually helped me. So another educator shared it with me and said, hey, you do a whole lot. You're doing da-da-da-da. I need you to read this book. That book changed my life a little bit. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I was trying to be this good egg and do everything and be everything for everybody else.
Can't do that.
And I feel like this will do the same thing. Like,
well, the neat thing about, well, I will tell you, the neat thing about my book, and this is something that I thought about when putting it together, was growing up as kids, we always tell kids, you know, books are precious, don't color in the books, don't draw in the books, but I wanted my book to be interactive. So there's actually pages in the back that the students can actually draw themselves and help them understand that they can be anything that they want to be, and label it. And so teachers can actually use it as a bulletin board, display or discussion piece with the kids.
Such a teacher to your heart. Yes, honey. I know that's
from a parent's perspective, no, seriously, I wish we would have had something back like this when the boys were younger, because it's actually a nice keepsake. Because if you're a parent and you want to discuss this and read this to your kids, you can give them an opportunity to draw themselves and what they want to become and see how amazing they can be, and then keep it as a keepsake. So when they get older, you'll always have it to look back and say, hey, look what you drew when you were 5 and here you are now. So
that's amazing. I mean, I literally was going through a lot of like my materials as I've been working through my business structures and things like that. And I found something from 3rd grade that I had to draw and write. And so it's so powerful. I was like, oh my gosh, look what I was saying and doing back then. And I was so happy.
it is.
And so I think that you all need to get your book right away. Like seriously, like you need to get your book right away. And I heard you say so many things that embody. I don't just do, you know, interviews with just anybody. I really, really have to feel it, that it connects, it matches with what we're trying to do in this movement. And so she clearly has honed her brilliance. She clearly has took her craft and made it work in ways that actually reach to everybody. And that we are all educated. I heard you say parents, you can do, teachers, you can do, you went to the college levels, you can do, like, there are so many different ways, you know. I even think about leaders, right? How do you make sure that the atmosphere and the conditions in your schools are really inclusive of everybody, and that it is a community for everyone? I heard you say that about when you went back to your old schools.
Yes.
And how they can use it. Like everybody is educating somebody somewhere. And I need us to understand that there are amazing people out here, and you are one of them. You might have a story inside of you. I heard Melinda say she's seen a need, and her need based on her story. Tell your story. And so July, we're journeying through our stories. Like we're journeying through our stories. What do you have to offer? What can you bring into this world? This is right now. The time is now that we really start thinking about.
It's so important.
I mean, and if you want to say more about, you know, what you can tell people to your process, you know, you taught, you were a new teacher, then you were a seasoned teacher, you found all these great things. And then you said, wait a minute, my passion is actually writing my story and going out and telling others. What would you say, you know?
So I really want to say that, you know, when I say I've gone through some challenges, I've gone through a couple diagnoses health-wise. I've dealt with a lot of things, as we all do on a daily basis, but I actually just was recovering from an operation, and I had this book written, but I had moved it forward. So at that time, I said to myself, I need to stop letting this sit here, and I need to do something about it. And we talk a lot about what we want to do, but it's really hard for us sometimes to put it in action. I just kept putting off, saying that it wasn't the right time, and I didn't know how to go about getting it published. And so I just said to myself at one point, this is something I'm going to do and get it done, because there's people out there who need to hear it, and I can be making a change. And sitting on something and letting it go and fester and not actually getting it done becomes a procrastination, right? Which becomes a hesitation. So then it just gets pushed to the side and you never do anything about it. So at that point in time, I figured I had the downtime to get it moving. And so that's what I did. And I had a lot of wonderful people that helped me along the way. Mia Crow was my editor, and helping me move things forward and getting it published. And like Tony doing my illustrations. And, Tony is so funny. So, in doing the illustrations, Tony had a vision of what he thought my character should look like, but then we had to, you have to understand, Tony is just funny. He just really is. And so he was making my character look very elaborate and very mature. And I said, Tony, let's remember it's a children's book.
I love that.
So we had a lot of fun with getting it, but we got it to where it needs to be. And it's been great. And I want to thank everybody who has taken my book and done so well with it and sharing it with their children, whether it's been at home as parents or as educators. I had one of my friends actually talk to the principal, and the principal at the school actually bought it for everybody on the elementary level. Aww. So every teacher has a copy in their classrooms. They don't have to go to the school library. And normally when I do go to a school library, if anybody would like to have me come and read to the kids, I enjoy doing it. It's not always a money-making thing for me. It's a personal thing where I'm sharing my story, and that's what really matters to me. If I'm touching the life of a child or a student in some way, and they can walk away knowing that being different can make a difference, then I'm fine with that. So I encourage you to definitely take what I've said today, bits and pieces, and apply it to not just your school setting, but as an individual, and knowing that any children that you're coming across, any people that you come across, that you really need to think about getting to know people first before you judge them on the outside. Because it is so, so important. And I know a lot of times we've gotten away from that because people sometimes are ignorant to what they don't know, but you can't fault them. A lot of times it's your upbringing. A lot of times it's your non-exposure. A lot of times it's things you don't have control over. But when you have the opportunity to make a difference, that's why I say take the opportunity to make a difference.
Can we give a round of applause? Come on, let's give it. Come on. Because she touched me in so many ways.
My heart. I'm just speaking from my heart.
And that's why you're here. And I got a little convicted because I've been sitting on my book, and it's coming out soon. I wrote that a long time ago. Yeah, she's going to get a light on her.
Get that going.
Yeah. So you gotta share your story with the world. You never know who can benefit, and you never know whose life you can save, life you can save, and then also people who might just say, wait, maybe I do have something. Maybe I'm waiting for all this confirmation. Like, is this? No, you are special. You are amazing. You are unique. You are brilliant, but you've got to hone it, and you got to believe that, you know what, I can do this. I can do it. It may not be perfect. And what do we talk about perfect? No, we walk in excellence. We talk about that versus perfection. And so I just am so really appreciative of you, Melinda.
Well, I really am.
I'm like so excited. You've shared some like just natural nuggets off your tongue. Like, you all need to go back, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and watch this again and actually take some more notes, and really take this to heart, because I do believe that we are shifting the way we educate, and education is not just in the school system, but it is part of that, right? We're being educated every day. There might be a child inside of you that you need to kind of go back to and say, hey,
that's true.
What kind of, and it could be something that stops you from being that excellent teacher that you want to be, or going into that profession that you want to do, or writing that book that you wanted to write for so long, and getting it and actually putting it out there. And so we're hoping that you were encouraged today. And as we close, what is next on the horizon for you, and how can people follow connect and, where can they find you?
Well, I would like to continue sharing my story. So I welcome anybody that would be interested in having me come to their school or their college or group discussion. It is so important, and I love doing what I do. So sharing my story is actually not work for me. It's actually fun for me to do it. So if that's something you'd be interested in doing, you can contact me via email or on Facebook, Melinda Kuchenreiter-Sisinski on Facebook, on Instagram, which is Melzy's Boys, MELZY Boys at Instagram.com. And you can find my book on Amazon. It is I Fit In with the Skin I'm In. You can purchase it on Amazon. It's at a few local bookstores here in Pennsylvania, in the Pittsburgh area. Riverstone Bookstore is carrying it right now, which I'm very grateful for, because they were the first bookstore that really looked at my book and said, hey, we'd love to have this on our shelf. So thank you to them. And my email, if you want to contact me directly, if you have any questions or you'd like to just talk to me about anything, my email is M as in Mary, C as in Cat, Suzinski, SUZENSKY @gmail.com.
Thank you. And I will also put all of that information in the chat, so you guys can get that a little later.
But I will give you a little snippet.
Okay.
So people have always asked me, they really love the fact that I wrote this book. And so I've had some of my friends encourage me and are trying to motivate me to work on a series. So I am working on my second book now, and it will be about a little boy, and that's all I'm going to tell you.
I love it. I'm so happy. Congratulations. And she let us know right here. So, when you start to get a little too busy, don't forget to come on back for part 2. Don't forget to come on back several times.
I would be honored. It would be my pleasure.
I'm so happy. I'm glad to have people who have mentored me, who I've looked up to, who also are friends, and just doing the darn thing all the time. I have to say, I am so proud of this lady. I really am. Robin, when she says that Robin has gone through some challenges herself, but she is here and doing wonderful. And I cannot be more proud of her and sharing her story as an educator and trying to educate and motivate others. So, yeah. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. Thank you. You're doing a great job. I appreciate that. Guys, you know what? Check out, again, she's going to be on my podcast, and that is Hone Your Brilliance, an Educator's Perspective. You all are brilliant. It is inside of you. Everything that you need is inside of you. Your stories, your challenges, your obstacles have all brought you to this point. Don't give up now. Start to create. I just feel like this is the season for creating based on who you are. Hone your brilliance, craft your brilliance, and don't give up. Find people who believe in you and who can continue to encourage you to move forward in everything that you want to do. All right. Thank you guys so much. And if you are a new teacher and you are looking for support, you can go to everybodyeducate.com. We do have a course that is starting it's launching this week. So my course really it's coaching and course, whatever you need. I know. Sign up. If it's classroom management, I'm working with someone right now around classroom management so they can get ahead of the game. And so it's going to go on this first section. I'm offering a special. So I'll talk to you more about that. I'm offering a special for from July on to September. So sign up between those times, and you will get some coaching to help you hone that teaching brilliance and be able to really support your students and do it confidently in the best of who you are. So sign up, go to everybodyeducate.com, go to Everybody Educate right on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Queen Educator. So all of that, you can get in contact with me. And so I will have these amazing people that will continue to come back and work alongside me too and help to support you to be your best self. Signing off.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Ooh, I told you there was going to be fireworks today. Yes, honey.
You're going out with the bang.
Take care, everybody. Bye. We're going to stop sharing now. Let's see if I can find it. You're going to see my crazy stuff being talking on here still. I told you guys, we tried to hold back. But we couldn't. We like to have, it's okay. It's all right. We're going to get this right,